Welcome back to the KO Game Room once again for the review of yet another Konami arcade title, Rush in Attack. Developed and published by Konami in 1985 for the arcades, Rush in Attack, also known as Green Beret outside of the United States, was released to a lot of home consoles at the time, including the ZX Spectrum, the Commodore 64, and the original Nintendo in 1987, which is the version we're looking at here. Obviously, a play on the word Russian, Rush in Attack, throws you right into a Cold War setting where you must advance to the end of each level, dispatching commies along the way. Right off the bat, you'll probably notice that Rush in Attack looks a lot like Contra, another Konami game from the same era that was extremely popular, but having the same visual style as Contra is pretty much where the similarities end. What we have here in Rush in Attack is kind of hard to identify. I want to call it a run and gun, but since you're equipped with a knife and don't have access to a gun until stage 3, it's more like a run and stab? Most of your enemies don't use guns either, even though it appears that some of them are carrying them, but that doesn't make it any less challenging. In fact, I find the game to be one of the most difficult of its type, and there's a specific reason for this. Instead of pressing A or even B to jump, you press up on the D-pad. It feels really clunky as a result of having to do that, but like anything else, you eventually become used to it. Though however used to it you become, you still won't be able to avoid grabbing onto ladders accidentally, because up also climbs. The enemies that you encounter aren't terribly varied, and in each stage you'll encounter the same types, albeit with a new sprite. They all run straight for you, but the colors of their uniforms will indicate what they will do. Bright red enemies will jump and kick at you once close, and the yellow enemies are equipped with a firearm. There's also the guys dressed in orange who will drop a weapon once they are killed. At the end of each level, rather than facing a big boss, you have to defeat a group of enemies. These groups vary from level to level and are surprisingly easier to dispense with than the hordes of soldiers you encountered along the way, at least in my opinion. So the game is simple enough, the controls are straightforward and the enemies are predictable, but it's extremely hard. I honestly couldn't wait to make this review because I was looking forward to the chance to play this game again. Now, after spending probably too much time with it, I have come to the conclusion that I'm just not very good at it. Really, I could sit here and list off the great memories I've had growing up with this game, playing with friends and all the things I really like about it, but while recording the footage for this review, I literally said, "I hate this game," out loud to myself more than once. I don't actually hate this game, I just hate not being very good at it. The music is great, and like just about everything else Konami pumped out on the NES, it's more than just playable. It's a well-made, challenging run and stab that I would recommend to anyone who is a fan of Contra and other similar games, and who are looking for something familiar but fresh. There are a lot of ways that you can play Russian Attack, with versions for several retro consoles such as the NES, but also being available on the Xbox Live Arcade, and none of these options are going to set you back much money. So give Contra a break and go track down Russian Attack.